Today we have a retrospective on Jesse Jensen's commitment to the show with our review of Enslaved.
And today we're also going to talk about pocket monsters, but not the ones you're thinking of. Find out in today's Top 5.
We review the only thing more maniacal than Jesse Jensen's hand gestures in Dead Space 2.
And Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and civil liberties. We'll cover all these and more in our review of Fables, issue 100.
And you want some candy, little girl? Then hop in my $800,000 HD recording van.
Because it's time for Game Over.
Welcome to Game Over, ICTV's one-stop for geek culture. I'm Colin DeMattis, and thanks to the Park Foundation, I'm having my body lined with flat-screen TVs.
And I'm Giovanni Colantonio, your own personal Jesus. Get it? It's the first letter of my name. A review.
The world of post-apocalyptica probably brings quite a few different images to mind. And more often than not, they're of desert wastelands a la Fallout or Borderlands. But what about a lush jungle with giant waterfalls pouring into vast chasms? And what if this jungle paradise had sprung up through a shattered windows and broken streets of what was once New York City? This is the world of Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. It's a world of vibrant green undergrowth, crystal blue skies, crumbling skyscrapers, rusting mechs, and a man named Monkey.
Enslaved is loosely based on the ancient Chinese novel Journey to the West, but besides borrowing a few names and the general plot structure, the similarities quickly end. The game centers on the brutish loner Monkey and the technologically minded Tripitaka, or Trip for short. The story begins as Monkey wakes to find himself imprisoned on a slave ship. He is accidentally released as Trip makes her escape and is forced to race through the ship as it begins ripping and breaking apart in the atmosphere. Now, after a dramatic crash landing, Monkey wakes to find that Trip has fitted him with a slave collar and offers him an ultimatum. He either escorts her safely back to the village, or he's gonna die.
As the game progresses, the relationship between Monkey and Trip becomes more nuanced, due in no small part to the game's excellent writing, fantastic voice acting, and surprisingly subtle animation. The story feels incredibly cinematic and incorporates dialogue throughout gameplay. This keeps the story feeling consistent, rather than something tacked on between the fighting and puzzle solving. The quality of the visuals is also really impressive. The environments are lush and colorful, making for a unique experience in a market still clogged with desaturated browns and grays. Ninja Theory also seems to have realized that a little smile or subtle facial twitch can mean a lot more and be more powerful than even the best dialogue. Of course, it doesn't hurt that Ninja Theory had Andy Serkis provide motion capture and voice for Monkey. Serkis manages to take what could have been another muscle-bound lead male and turn him into a nuanced and surprisingly interesting character.
Of course, a game can't stand on pretty visuals and a good story alone. However, the overall gameplay of Enslaved is surprisingly solid and fun. The player will spend most of their time alternating between fighting the various mechs and leaping about in a Prince of Persia-like platforming section. Now, combat is primarily melee-based. Monkey uses a large staff, which allows him to both move in close and keep his enemies at a distance. Various enemy types have different weaknesses, and so players will have to rely on a variety of normal, power, or stun attacks to break through the enemy's defenses. Plus, as the game progresses, Trip will be able to unlock new abilities for Monkey. The biggest problem is that the camera tries to be a little too cinematic at times, as it zooms in and out during combat, which can occasionally get annoying.
The platforming proves to be mostly harmless and more visually interesting and truly challenging. In general, Monkey never misses handholds and never plummets to his death like a certain Tomb Raider, but many of the platforming sections instead become components of a larger puzzle or provide alternate routes around direct confrontations.
We here at Game Over give Enslaved, Odyssey to the West a bye. The game's engaging characters and story, refreshingly vibrant and colorful visuals, along with its entertaining and fast-paced gameplay, make for a thoroughly entertaining package. And now with that, we go to Jesse Jensen, our own thoroughly entertaining package with today's game news.
Thanks, Giovanni. I'm Jesse Jensen, and I've got some news for you. Some sad news, actually. Some sad news happened throughout the past couple of weeks, including Activision's decision to cancel the upcoming Guitar Hero release. Activision has announced that they will not only cancel the Guitar Hero release, but they will also abandon the franchise altogether due to its lack of profit. Guitar Hero 3 had sold over 1.5 million copies in its opening week, where the more recent Guitar Hero game, Warriors of Rock, was barely able to sell half as many copies. The end of this franchise and also the cancellation of another working project, True Crime Hong Kong, will result in 7% of Activision's employees being laid off. They are assuring, however, that new employees will be hired to focus more directly on a new massive multiplayer online game and also some advances on the Call of Duty franchise. Continuing with the cancellations, Electronic Arts has announced that they are canceling Mirror's Edge 2. Its predecessor, an innovative and original concept on the first-person action-adventure genre, did not have much success on the market when it was released with Electronic Arts' Dead Space. After the release of Mirror's Edge in 2008, the developers began working on a prototype of Mirror's Edge 2 for Electronic Arts. Unfortunately, they were unimpressed with the results and decided to cut their losses with the project. Meanwhile, Dead Space 2, though the original title had trouble on the market, was able to see release a couple of weeks ago. Angry Birds, meanwhile, has been creating a buzz of its own. Rumors have now spread out, were recently confirmed that Angry Birds will be making a debut on the soon-to-be-released Nintendo 3DS sometime this year. Many have speculated that this game will be available around the time as Rovio's Angry Birds Rio, a spin-off of the popular title coinciding with 20th Century Fox's new movie, Rio. However, no release date has been mentioned. What has been announced, though, is that they will bring the Angry Birds franchise to the 3DS as digital downloads that may be purchased off of Nintendo's eShop. And now, a break.
Thanks, Jesse baby. It is time for a break, but first, can you guess which early console game this winged wannabe on the screenshot is from? Find out when we come back.